Today on Studio G, Kyle Root takes a look at what to do in case of a campus shooting.
We uncover more about a journalism class that will focus primarily on sports.
There's also a tough sport taking shape on campus that might give football a run for its money.
Studio G starts right now.
Good afternoon. Today is October 8th, 2015. I'm Mateo Hawley.
And I'm Taylor Carter, and this is Studio G.
From the fallout of the Oregon campus shooting, we took a look at what you should do if there was a shooter on campus. Kyle Root reported on the story.
Last week's shooting in Oregon was a terrible reminder of how prevalent school shootings have become in today's society, and has left many wondering how to prevent such tragedies. Although there is no certain answer to that yet, the Department of Homeland Security and campus police have set up platforms that educate people on what to do during active shooting situations.
We urge students to educate themselves. We offer some training if they want to partake in it, to know what to do, because it's a split-second decision that could save your life.
The Department of Homeland Security suggests that they have three options when engaging with an active shooter. First, they tell you to run. If there's a safe exit for you or a place to go in the immediate directions, they tell you to go for that. Next, they tell you to hide. If there's something you can hide under, a table, a desk, they recommend you do that second. And absolute last option would be to fight. They say your chances of fighting against an active shooter are much better than reasoning with one. They also tell you if there's an active shooter in the area, you should close and lock all the doors.
Shut your silence your cell phone. You don't want that ringing as you're trying to hide.
The Department of Homeland Security says you should always be aware of your environment and know where the nearest exits are in case you have to run.
Basically, you go to our website and you can click on a link and you put your cell phone number into our system. So if there's ever a mass shooting or any sort of emergency, gas leak, fire, anything like that, that we need to let everybody know what's going on, we'll send out a mass text message, and everybody enrolled in the program will get that message.
Detective Velez says the best prevention is identification.
If you see something, say something. You know, it's the cliche, but it's always true, and it's of the utmost importance.
He also mentioned something many may not consider, and that is what to do when the police arrives.
Once the cops arrive, you have, do everything they tell you to do. Don't jump up, because we don't know who the shooter is. So once the police arrive and they tell you, stay down or hands up, turn around, do everything exactly as they say, because we're processing the scene as we get there and we're looking for that shooter. We're going to ask you some quick questions, where'd he go, what they look like, what are they wearing, stuff like that. And we're going to try to end the threat, because that's what we're there for. But the protocol now is you get there, you're in, you're going in. If you're solo, you're going in. You're going to hope your backup's coming real quick. But we're not going to stand outside waiting for somebody to come while there's shots going off in the building and people are getting killed. Because every second you delay, he's shooting somebody else.
From Studio G, I'm Kyle Root.
For more information on what to do during an active shooter situation, visit the Department of Homeland Security's website and search active shooter and how to respond.
President Jessup's plan to heighten UNLV's reputation among other college institutions hit a new high yesterday when it was announced that UNLV and Tesla Motors will be partnering up in a $1 million project funded by the electric car manufacturer to develop research aimed at improving operations at Tesla planned factory motors near Reno. That should be completed by 2017. The hopes are that because of the move, other large companies and government entities will invest in UNLV.
Donald Trump continues his campaign today in the battle-born state and is scheduled to speak at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino. Other Republican candidates, Marco Rubio, scheduled to spend 3 days traveling around the city from Summerlin to Boulder City. Both candidates look to make a significant impact in the Silver State as they both sit atop the Republican polls in the United States.
to Europe could be getting a little cheaper in the coming months. Many Scandinavian companies are working on making a trip from the U.S. more affordable. You can already take the WOW Air, an Atlantic airline, from several U.S. airports to different stops in the U.K., with a quick stop in Iceland, of course. Many of the fares are supposed to dip below $100 by 2017.
DraftKings and FanDuel, two of the most profitable online daily fantasy sports companies, found themselves in some hot water on Monday after an employee at DraftKings admitted this week to inadvertently releasing data before the start of the third week of NFL games. The NFL fall meeting, Commissioner Roger Goodell said he has two definitions of what fantasy sports are.
Football, and I draw a distinction with season-long fantasy and daily fantasy because season-long fantasy has been around for quite a while. In 2006, I'm not sure anyone knew what daily fantasy was. Well, that's my point. Right, and so things evolve.
$350,000 on rival fantasy site FanDuel, which was the same week information was leaked. Employees of both companies have been temporarily banned from participating in any daily fantasy games for the time being. The major sports leagues in the United States have inked major advertising deals, but at least Roger Goodell thinks the NFL has no say in what happens at the operating level.
But states are the ones that make the determinations about whether something's legal or not legal. We follow the law, and we will do that. It is not, from our standpoint in the league, we have not taken any equity positions. We have allowed this to happen on advertising.
Major companies like ESPN are sidelining advertising of these sites in response to temporarily distancing themselves from both companies.
Sepp Blatter has been suspended by the FIFA Ethics Committee today after the president of FIFA came under investigation for signing an unfavorable contract to the Swiss Attorney General and made a disloyal payment. President Blatter has been in that position for over 3 decades and has often come under fire of corruption. Issa Hayatou, two of the vice president of FIFA, will serve an interim president of FIFA while Blatter serves his suspension. It is important to note that the suspension is only for 90 days and will be reevaluated what to do at the time. FIFA has been under investigation for the last few months for corruption, and many of its top-tier personnel have been suspended and banned from the sport. Hillary Clinton distanced herself from the Obama administration on Wednesday. She publicly came out against the Pacific Trade Act she originally supported, the president's PAC, but when the deal was released, she retracted her support of the legislation. The former Secretary of State also said that the Pacific Trade Pact does not meet the standards she thought it would meet when she originally supported the agreement. Coming up after the break, Nicole Lewis will explain more about the new rough and tough sport you could join here on campus, and a quick checkup on the weather. Don't go anywhere because Studio G is coming right back.
It's great. You make friends, you gain skills, you learn how to do all this stuff with audio. It's a fantastic thing.
I can grow with everyone and everybody supports me as well as I can support them.
I think it's great. I think it's a blessing to have this kind of equipment from the Green Spawn family as well as the state of Nevada.
And it's really informative to see, how a radio show really works.
Now that I do it, I have friends, I have people that want to hang out, and I get to play music a lot.
It's very good too because we have all the top of the line equipment to work with and students here that can help you out, so it's a very, very good way to get involved in radio.
Wonder what makes us, the Smurfs, so happy? The forest, of course! This is where we, along with the beautiful forest creatures, make our home with beautiful plant life, clean water, and endless adventures. It's a place to celebrate. So discover the forest with your family today. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, Organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Now with a look at the weather for the week, let's throw it over to Sally Ann.
Thank you, Mateo. All right, it's currently 83 degrees out now with 25% humidity, and it's going to heat up a little bit later on today, going up to 93 degrees, so we're starting to get a little hotter once again. We're going to have a low later tonight of 71 degrees, and let's take a look at our high for tomorrow as soon as it changes for me. All right, it's going to be 94 degrees tomorrow, so we're consistently heating up just a little bit. We're going to take a look now at our weekly forecast. It's not changing. All right, for the next 4 days, it's going to stay 94 degrees, and it's going to heat up just a little bit on Tuesday and Wednesday to 95, and then cool down just a bit on Thursday to 93. It's going to be partly cloudy, so it should feel a little chillier just with cutting back a little bit of those rays. And then the low for the whole week is going to be in the lower 70s. I know a lot of people want to break out those beanies, scarves, and sweaters, but keep those Ugg boots in the closet for just a little bit longer because we're not officially into that fall crisp weather just yet. All right, thank you guys. That wraps up our weather today. Back to Mateo.
UNLV's rugby team is not only one of the newest sports on campus, but also one of the roughest. Nicole Lewis has the story.
One of my things too is communication. Well, rugby's pretty amazing. I mean, it's the toughest sport on earth. It combines every sport: soccer, football, basketball, you name it.
Go down, go down, go down.
President of UNLV's rugby team, Robert Moynihan, has only played for a year, but says that he enjoys how challenging rugby is and enjoys playing with his teammates.
Well, I really like being part of this team because it's a lot of fun. Everyone on the team is very fun to be with. It's almost like a family. You know, you fight with your family, and you also love your family.
Down, 6, down, 7, down, 8, down.
Coach Justin Gannon, who used to play on the rugby team for Florida State University, says that he enjoys coaching a brand new team from scratch.
The UNLV rugby team is very young and very new. They just rejoined the collegiate divisions.
Coach Gannon believes that this rugby team will be the one to beat in just a few years' time. For Studio G, I'm Nicole Lewis.
If you're interested in joining UNLV's rugby team, visit unlvrugby.com.
Rebels aren't afraid to get down and dirty. Literally, various UNLV organizations got together to play a friendly but fierce competition of oozeball. UNLV's intramural fields were turned into a muddy battlefield for the oozeball competition, which featured many student organizations.
Oozeball is our biggest special event that we run every year. It's our mud volleyball tournament that we get, everyone from around campus to pitch in and help us out with. And it's actually the longest running event that we have at UNLV. It's even longer than Premier.
Oh, glad you didn't read because
prompter needs to. Teams ranging from Greek life organizations, sports teams, and even student staff showed their competitive rebel spirit by trying to win the title of Oozeball champion.
Yeah, we're here to represent UNLV Rugby, let people know we have a team out here and we like to play in the mud.
Just, create a community within UNLV and get everybody to come together and be like one big rebel family,
For more information on how you can join Oozeball next year, contact UNLV's Campus Recreational Services at 702-774-7100 or check out their website, unlv.edu/srwc. Coming up after the break, Sarah Shelton introduces UNLV's newest faculty member. We will be right here after the break.
I really enjoy doing my show
I love all types of rock, and that's why I'm doing Rock Through the Decades. We play the 50s all the way to today's rock music or rock bands. I want them to get the appreciation of how much rock has changed over the years and how it's still really great. You can never kill rock. I mean, rock is like the way to be, the way to go. The name of my show is Rock Through the Decades, and I am Rockin' Gemini. You can listen to this on the Rebel HD2 network.
Our Metropolis is a 30-minute show that airs every Tuesday evening at 91.5. You're going to hear Dr. Gary Larson along with our regular contributors talking about what matters to our community. And not only what matters, but why does it matter? We look at our community as a whole, but we also pay special attention to what's happening here at UNLV because that's our home as well. So looking at our Metropolis through the lens of a radio show really gives us the unique perspective to tell a story through words and through people, and I think it makes for a great program.
Internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major is you have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot. Fox 5's John Castanino will be joining UNLV Journalism Department as the new instructor for a sports journalism class. Here's Studio G reporter Sarah Shelton with more.
At the university. He graduated UNLV in 2003 and says he's excited to be joining our school to give students knowledge from his first-hand experience in the journalism field.
I think the fact that I went to school here, I'm from Vegas, I'm a UNLV alum, I think that was a big appeal for me to take this job.
Did you get offered the position, or did you choose to come here?
I applied for it not really knowing what was going to happen. I just said, oh, I see this, let me apply for it and see what happens. So no regrets about, again, leaving the broadcast news business. I had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, it's great business. I love it, and I know I'll miss it in some ways, but I see this opportunity, and again, an opportunity to be on my home campus and in my hometown still, and I'm going to take it and run with it.
There's been obviously many changes since the School of Journalism used to be taught in FDH. Which ones stick out most to you?
Oh my gosh, you got, if that was like, a regular hotel, that's the comparison I'd use. If the FDH was a hotel, you would be in the Ritz-Carlton in this building here because it is fantastic.
The class is centered for students with a strong interest in sports, but all students with an interest in broadcast are challenged to take it.
It's going to be sports central. I know the news business from all angles. Really, I've been behind the camera, in front of the camera. I've covered hard news for 7 years as well, so the murders, the death, the destruction, that's something I did as well. It's not my passion. Sports is my passion, but it's a broad journalism class.
So no one should be afraid of being tackled by a football player. You're going to teach us and
Maybe.
make sure we don't get tackled.
That I can't teach, so you're going to have to keep your eyes open, eyes in the back of your head. I've actually been run over a couple times myself, so that's just part of the job, growing pains.
So what do you want people to call you in your classes or in the hallway?
For now, I will probably just stick with you can call me John, and if you try to say my last name, you're going to have to say it correctly, or there could be point deductions on on tests and whatnot.
Students can begin enrolling for the spring semester as soon as enrollment dates stroll around.
I know it's Journalism 439. That's all I know. We don't really have a name for it, but I can tell you the name of the show and what we're going to center it around. I just kind of came up with it over the weekend. We're just going to call it the Rebel Report. So everything athletics will be on this show that we're going to produce, put together between the students and myself, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you come to my class and you take my class, we're going to treat this like an actual broadcast, and we're going to have a level of excellence on campus to where, if the story doesn't cut it, it doesn't cut it. I mean, we're going to make sure that we have broadcast quality television put on the air through this.
For Studio G, I'm Sarah Shelton.
Thanks, Sarah. Students, be sure to check when your enrollment dates are on My UNLV to sign up for the new Journalism 431 class. We have John in the studio today, so let's send it over to Mateo.
We are here with John Castellino to talk a little bit more about the state of sports here in Las Vegas. So, the very first question I want to have for you is, what do you think of the current state of, like, you know, we have a new coach with football, we have a new kind of like what they call the dynasty. What do you think that's going to do for sports broadcasting in Vegas?
Yeah, and are you talking about here at UNLV or
here
just
at UNLV, and then also, yeah, let's start with here at UNLV.
Oh, Mateo, thanks for having me. First off, you guys do a great job here at Studio G. I haven't seen too many shows at this point, but thanks for inviting me on. I think just kind of, well, if we start just with UNLV centric and what's happening here, I think it is a new era, as you touched on. I think with Tony Sanchez and the football team and Dave Rice, kind of this do or die season for him. Things are different around the university as far as athletics are concerned, and I think with the football team coming off back-to-back wins and really performing well right now, they're kind of at a level that we haven't seen in a lot of years. Granted, they made a bowl game a few years ago, but really after that they've sputtered a bit. So I can only describe it as things feel different. Where that leads, I don't know. But as far as broadcasting is concerned, there's an excitement in the air, and I think the local media and more so the national media have really latched on to what Tony Sanchez is doing, and I'm sure you've seen it. He's done a ton of national interviews to talk about his team. It's been really exciting just to follow them, and I'm kind of stepping out of what I did at Fox 5 and moving over here, but as he's kind of grown in his role, Tony Sanchez has, it's been really fun to watch, and obviously I'm going to love continuing watching him do his thing while I'm here at the university.
Okay, and so for sports broadcasting, also we have the new stadium, we have a couple new sports developments. When you were working with Fox 5, what were you looking for all the time? Because a lot of the time now on newscasts, unless it's a major sports day, you don't have that particular section.
Right.
So as a sports broadcaster, what do you try to tend to work on during the week?
It's basically, the first thing is that you want local-centric stories, big stories. So you focus on local, because if you're looking for Cubs video or Cubs information, you're going to go to ESPN for that. So on the local level, you just want to stick with what's happening in your own backyard. And we have plenty of big stories, you know, to follow out here with the NHL team. And again, obviously with what's happening with the football team and the Runnin' Rebels. Runnin' Rebels are always king out here. So that's number one. So anything relevant to the basketball team we're going to put on the air. And you're right, there is a little bit of a dance to kind of figure out what we're going to put on first. But I always say you start local, and then after that, you just find the best video. So, you know, whether it's fun, whether it's funny, whatever it is, whether it's dramatic, that's kind of what I look at when I put a sports cast together, local first, and then just best video and best stories afterwards.
And what do you think of the state of sportscasting nationally? What do you think of ESPN and some of the major sports programs?
Well, I mean, obviously ESPN is the mothership, as a lot of people refer to it. There's always going to be a place for that, and that's where the shift is going, is that local sports, you know, it's getting smaller and smaller, which is one of the reasons why I actually left Fox 5, because, you know, the focus is coming away from local stations, because it's hard to say as far as getting the resources to go out there and shoot stories, because news is a priority at a local news station. So sometimes sports doesn't get the cameras. Sometimes sports isn't able to go out and attend everything. So people look to ESPN, but I mean, again, it's going to be, they're going to be there for decades, you know, and things are moving away. I think I've seen from the TV side to the digital side. Really, that's where the big shift is right now. And you see a lot of companies like ESPN hopping on that streaming bandwagon, where people want that content right away. They want it right now. And that's where I see things growing. So ESPN is always going to be there. It's just that the shift is going to start happening, and we've seen it already, where you're not necessarily tuning in at a specific time. You're getting on your phone and your iPad and your laptop, and you want information right now. So the digital side is really where everything's growing.
So my other question, too, is because everyone wants more information, if you look at like CNN, there's always more news happening. Now, sports is a far smaller environment. Do you feel like there's too much saturation of the same stories throughout the day? I know it happens with every type of news station, but with sports, it's the same thing, and they keep repeating over and over for several
I see
days.
what you're saying. Yeah, I think overproduced is one word that I'd use, you know, where they regimented so closely a story where it's just the same story for hours on end, it seems like. You know, I'm okay with that because, you know, what else are they going to do, I guess. But it's hard in the sense that, you know, ESPN, everybody looks to them first. So, you know, there's always that opinion, I guess, whether you think it's too much or too little on a topic. I guess I would agree with them where you want to err on the side of caution and give too much content. You know, if people are tired of it, then they can change it and come back whenever their game of the day or whatever it is that they really want to watch is on. So I'm okay with what they do. I think it's just a little too regimented for me. I like loose, I like laid back, I like free flowing. And I think right now ESPN is a little overproduced. I actually really like what Fox Sports is doing because they're a little bit more laid back, unstructured, free flowing, as I said. And I think it's more fun over there. So I've kind of shifted. You know, I was a hardcore ESPN guy, but I love what Fox is doing. I've started watching them a lot more.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming on set. We really, really appreciate it. We hope to have you on here more often, too, to get more of our sports news and things like that. So after the break, we check out a way to save life here in the Valley.
Ever wonder what makes us, the Smurfs, so happy? The forest, of course. This is where we, along with the beautiful forest creatures, make our home with beautiful plant life, clean water, and endless adventures. It's a place to celebrate. So discover the forest with your family today. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Sunday evening jazz. I mainly play a lot of contemporary jazz music from the 1960s up until about 2012, 2013. When I go on, just explain who it was, the name of the song, the name of the artist, maybe the name of the album, their career. I just hope that everybody enjoys it and appreciate it for the kind of music it is and how great it is. My name is Sam and I host Sunday Evening Jazz on the rebelhd2.com.
It's the Rebel and Revolt show. Pretty good show about, you know, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but and we talk about, you know, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk and I run the Rebel and Revolt show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
Adopt, don't shop seems to be a popular phrase when it comes to getting a furry friend. We take a closer look at a local rescue that is dedicated to rehoming basset hounds in need.
We were formed in 1999. So we've been in the community for a very long time.
President of Las Vegas Basset Rescue, Kathleen Delaney, is dedicated to help every basset hound, young or old, get a fresh start in life and the chance with a loving new family.
We have rehomed at this point over 600 basset hounds, basset hound mixes, and then the occasional not basset hound, but somebody needs our help. And we're very proud of that.
The rescue helps dogs across the valley and out of state as well.
We rescue and rehome basset hounds in need in southern Nevada, northern Nevada, and sometimes we cover the southern Utah area as well.
Adopting a dog eliminates the risk of the dog being sent to a kill shelter.
We're hoping to give tons of dogs a forever home today. So come on out and adopt your own little furry little friend.
Luckily, the amount of dogs being turned in is decreasing, and the Las Vegas Basset Rescue works hard to keep the dogs safe and healthy.
The numbers have come down a little bit recently because the foreclosures have kind of lessened, but as that kind of peaks and valleys, then we get more dogs in with people that unfortunately have to choose and can't keep their dogs.
With social media constantly growing, the rescue takes advantage to get their message out to the public.
Now with social media, we have a better reach, I think. We have a Facebook page, and we always invite people to please come visit our Las Vegas Basset Rescue Facebook page to see what dogs are available and what events we're attending.
Dog owner Stacy Djokovic has a basset hound of her own and strongly believes in the Las Vegas Basset Rescue's ambition.
And I really believe in rescuing animals.
For Studio G, I'm Alexa Vida.
If you want your own basset hound, check out www.lasvegasbassethounds.com to view current dogs available for adoption and to see the success stories.
So, basset hounds.
They are adorable.
They're adorable to you? I love the ears. They're so floppy.
Yes, that's the best part. And their little legs.
Their little legs? Oh, yeah. That'd be hard to walk, though. They're just kind of like pitter-patter.
They're a little slow.
Yeah, well, that's all right. So, that's going to do it for today. here at Studio G.
Make sure you tune in tomorrow to get a jump start on your weekend and relive some of the best stories of the week. For Studio G, I'm Taylor Carter.
And I'm Mateo Hawley.